So for those who aren't familiar with Tru Emotion, what city and state are you guys from?
We're from Detroit, Michigan.
So where did the artist name Tru Emotion come from?
When we met, he was already doing a little music. He's a very emotional type of guy. He's in touch with. He was just raised right of how you treat a woman, you know. So he shows a lot of his emotions. I'm a very outspoken and truthful person. I don't sugarcoat anything. I put it out there just the way it is. And one day we were sitting around because my dad, he used to call me Tru. So when I met him and I seen a couple of his YouTube things, his name was Emotion on there. And I said, you know what? That describes us. That should be our name. I mean, we met each other at that with those names. If we put it together, you know, maybe to help people understand our music because we're very truthful and emotional about what we write and our stories and our love and relationships with each other. So that's how we got Tru Emotion.
So when did y'all realize y'all wanted to be artists?
Father, he's been in the industry for a long time. Rest in peace. I was born with it in my heart and in my soul. So I've always wanted to do music. Emotion, he self-taught himself to sing and play the keyboard and things of that nature. I was already playing the guitar and the sax and stuff like that. It was just a passion. I think we were just born with it. And when we got together, it was just magical. I'll never forget. He came over one day because he wanted me to manage him. He found out who my father and my godmother was, and he wanted me to manage him. He wrote this song that he had, but it wasn't finished. And I was laying down, and he was singing it, playing on the keyboard, and I just started humming lyrics and singing, and we created it, Cry True Love. And I'm like, man, this is banging. So we took it to a club that we were going to, and I asked the DJ to play it, and the crowd was rocking with it. So we decided to go forward with it.
What would you say was the first stage that y'all ever took yourself serious and performed on?
Bullfrog in Detroit, Michigan. The Bullfrog. We went to go see some artists perform, and this manager his name was Charles Austin. He had Emotion go up on the stage, and we remixed the Fetty Wap song.
Okay.
And the crowd was rocking and was loving it.
And you've been in the music game for how many years?
Woo! Let me see. The first time I ever picked up a guitar, I was 7 years old. And I've been doing it since then. So that was over 20 years ago.
Okay. So y'all have this hot song out right now called 3 a.m. Tell me a little bit about that and the inspiration behind 3 a.m.
Well, it's a true story. It's the beginning of a relationship. You know how beginning of relationships are kind of like, it's fresh. So everything is exciting. And the first incident, Emotion had came in around 3 o'clock in the morning, and he was partying with some friends and a little tipsy and stuff like that. And he tried to tell me he was somewhere other than where he was at, but he still had the champagne bottle in his hand. He left the keys in the doorway. He's stumbling in, and his friends was in the car, and I'm telling them to come on in the house. I know you guys is out there doing something you had no business. And when he dropped the bottle, and what was in his hand was still a girl's phone number. And I called him, girl, yes. And he was trying to explain to me that he wasn't out with no girls and things like that. And whew.
Oh, no, ain't no explaining that Emotion. You can't explain that one. So explain to some people, dating your partner and coming in this industry together, what are some pros and cons that y'all two may face or have faced?
The industry is not easy at all. You're going to run into. We was with this manager, and we trusted him with our music and things of that nature, and he wound up taking a few of our songs, and we didn't know anything about split sheets. We didn't know anything about really. We just knew how to do music, and he wound up. We didn't know how to do the BMIs, things of that nature, and he took our music and gave it to another artist. I don't want to mention no names, but it blew. It blew, and they hot artists now to this day. You got to really, really be careful about who you trust your music with.
Is true.
And things of that nature. You got to know to about the paperwork, getting an entertainment lawyer. It's a lot because if not, you'll never make it. It's terrible. But then you got some good people. We wound up. Uh, we were going to together a show, and we went
Okay.
to this building, the towers, and we met Maxwell Minks and Lady Bia. Um, and they heard us rehearsing because we rented their building for the show, and they heard us rehearsing, and they wanted to sign us that day, and they have been amazing ever since. So we've been Alpha Wolf with Alpha Wolf Records for over 8 years.
So, what would you say be a motto or code that you live by when it comes to your music and expressing yourself?
Always being 100% truthful and real. When we go into to the studio, we are. It's kind of like therapy for us, and we want it to be therapy for others. You know, we've been together for 15 years, like I said, for a very long time, and we have experienced a whole lot of things, and we're pretty sure a lot of people have been through some of the same similar things, and it helped us through those things, and we want to help others through those things. So always to be honest and truthful.
Who are some of your music idols that you look up to?
Whew. Whitney Houston, Anita Baker, Adele, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu. And emotions would be Chris Brown, Usher, Neo, Jeremiah, Tank.
If you could perform on any stage, where would it be and why?
Silverdome.
Superdome?
Yep.
Why?
One, the size, and I would be able to reach a lot of people at one time. I also wanted to be on some of the stages that Whitney Houston performed on. So it's just I want the world to hear us, and I want to get a personal relationship with everyone. I want them to, because you can hear some music, but I want them to see.
Correct.
What I mean, because I'm very, very emotional when I perform. Like you could see the lyrics in me come out of me.
Do you get support from local DJs?
Um, some. Akeisha Baker is one. We love her. We met her when we was first starting out. Um, DJ Raja, Flex Bands, before he got really big, he used to come to our shows and enter our contests and things of that nature. So,
What if you only had 24 hours to live? What would you do with your time?
first of all, I would ask God before my transition to um, keep a head of protection over my children, my mother, because my father's deceased. I would ask God to please forgive this world for all of the corrupt and bad things that's going on in the world, because some of us know not. And I would want for the world just to get in touch with True Emotion, because our music is going to be needed at the worst times and the greatest times.
So, from what you just said, you said your music is very needed. Explain to people and your fans and listeners that are listening now, how important is music now to the listening ear?
The music game has changed, and R&B is slowly dying, and that's why the legends are trying to come back and bring it back. This new era has changed music. You know, they got this drill. It's rap is booming, but R&B is music for the soul, for
That's
the
true.
heart, and it's lacking. And the legends, they're here, but they won't be that long. You know what I'm saying? And when they leave, it's over with if we don't get out here and bring it back. Because you just think about how Whitney's Houston music was, or Anita Baker music was, or the Temptation music was. Those were true life emotional stories that helped and healed, and we don't have that anymore. So True Emotion is trying to bring that back because it's needed. It's very much so needed. Think about it, when you go to weddings, they playing Luther Vandross.
That's right.
You know, when you go to funerals, they playing the Clark sisters and things of that. R&B, you don't hear rapping when you at graduations or baby showers. It's R&B that's played.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very much so needed. Talk to these young folks and tell them where music even come from. Rap comes from R&B. You know what I mean? And they're forgetting that.
Some don't understand the importance of music. Sometimes people just make music just say, oh, well, this is something that I do, or this is something that my friend says that I'm able to do. You know, they don't really understand the importance and the value of a word or a
Yes,
lyric.
word speaks volumes.
Definitely.
You know, and you have to, as far as the action part, what you put into it is the action. So when you have the action and words, you're speaking volumes. But you can't, like you said, you can't just go out there and just write anything. Oh, this is a nice beat.
Right.
No. You have to interact with your fans. You have to. It's like me sitting there with you. You're going through something, and when you play 3 a.m., it's like me sitting there having this conversation with you, walking through your pain and sorrows and with you, and also giving you a way to build and be able to get up and walk out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? Or heal you in that situation. We want to touch souls. We want to touch hearts. We want to touch minds. We wanted the world to know that it's okay to cry. So that's just True Emotion. We are a very emotional songwriting artists, and we want to relate as if we were sitting there having tea with our fans.
If you had one song that was to describe True Emotion's life, what would that one song be?
That describes our life. You probably won't remember. Well, I hope you can remember this.
Okay.
But it was a song put together by numerous of artists from the 80s and the 70s. It's called "We Are the World."
I do.
That would describe true emotion and our music.
If the whole world was listening, which they are, what would you say to them?
R&B is back. True Emotion will not let it die. So you guys don't have to worry. We got you.
You've been rocking with your girl, Big Boss Jayla. Why not Jayla? You know, whatever you want to call me. Here on the segment of Who Got Motions with the one and only Tru from Tru Emotions, all the way from Detroit, Michigan. Tru, let everybody know who you are and where they can find you at.
Hi, I'm Tru Emotion, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan. You can find our music on Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on all social media.
All right. You've been rocking with us here on Hits 96.3.